after a judge denied him bond in front of his family and friends.
High-profile criminal defense attorney Steve Sadow speaking with me exclusively just minutes after a Fulton County Superior Court judge denied bond for his client, hip-hop superstar Gunna.
We're very disappointed. We thought that we presented enough to show he'd be a good bond risk.
He is dangerous, and if he crosses them, he'll kill them or their families.
There have been some long-awaited updates on the Gunna case, and we're afraid that all the Gunna fans out there who are going to want to see their boy out on the streets and making music again might be a little disappointed. Gunna was denied his bond yet again, and on top of all that, he was accused of being a Shady Park CRIP. So what's really the case here? Was he denied bond because he was secretly a Shady Park CRIP? Before we dive deeper into the latest prosecution allegations from the Gunna case, we gotta take it back a little bit since all this stuff happened to Gunna in the last few months. He's been on the radar of a lot of media, and for plenty of reasons too, most of which are pretty grim. It all started with the Young Stoner Life group, otherwise known as YSL, being indicted in May this year with charges for violating the RICO Act. Young Thug, Gunna, and 26 others are being held behind bars until their trials open, which will probably be taking place in January of 2023. The prosecutors found YSL to be guilty of a lot of things: murder, armed robbery, and other sorts of nasty criminal gang activities. Everyone's going to be facing a case of their own, and with that being said, Gunna's case in particular not looking too bright right now. On Thursday, the 7th of July 2022, there was a hearing in Fulton County Superior Court. The judge who was appointed to Gunna's case, a man who goes by the name of Euro Glanville, was asked by Gunna's lawyer team to take another look at the possibility of a bond. However, after giving some time and thinking about it, the judge refused to reconsider this earlier decision to deny bond to the ATL rapper Gunna. For the second time in a row now, Gunna was denied a bond release. In case you didn't already know, Gunna already had one bond hearing earlier this year, in late May. The reason why he was denied bond now is pretty much the same reason why he was denied bond earlier this year. It was mostly over concerns about witness intimidation. The YSL leader and rapper Young Thug was denied bond for a similar reason at his hearing last month. The judges obviously find these two in some sort of threat to those who would contribute to the case. They don't want Thugger or Gunna to scare any potential witnesses to their criminal activity in the last few years. Prosecutors going against Gunna claim they've got numerous witnesses who were threatened. Witnesses claim they fear not only for their own lives, but their families' lives should they testify. Gunna's lawyer defense team had something to say about that. Despite the serious allegations of witness intimidation, Gunna's team of lawyers denied such threats ever took place. One of the guys who tried helping Gunna out with his bond hearing, Steve Sadow, said he was very disappointed with the outcome of the bond hearing. Said the prosecution again produced no evidence at all. Instead, they chose to rely on vague and non-specific allegations and speculation through the statements of the prosecutor alone. Gunna deserves better from our justice system. A month before the second bond hearing, Gunna gave us all a little sneak peek into his prison life. He had something to say about how he feels and what he's been going through in his cell. On his birthday, the 14th of June, he sent a letter to the public, and this is what he wrote. Growing up from where I'm from in a marginalized neighborhood, I never dreamt my art would change my life and the lives of my loved ones. My entire life, I've seen black men, black women, and black children constantly attacked, hated, berated, belittled, silenced, judged, used, and held captive. That's not all. On his Twitter account, there was a rather reflective post that said, 22 and 2, just a bed and shower. No windows, just walls, can't see or talk to anyone. I'm right now and still praying every day. I was raised to fight fire with fire, even though my country's amendments have failed me. Protect black art. This kind of message left some people filled with emotions of sympathy. One of his fans wrote, protect black art, free my slimes, free Thugger, free Gunna. There's more to be said about this whole situation though. The second bond hearing was a little bit different in comparison to the first one. Gunna seems to be a bit shadier than any of us thought. Since he was allowed to talk about Thugger being a big brain behind the operations, people mostly thought that Gunna wasn't a big boy in the crime scene at ATL. It seems that we may have been mistaken all along. With Gunna's prosecutor showing up to court with the latest allegations, maybe Gunna isn't really as innocent as it seems. So here's what all the fuss is about. Not only is Gunna now charged with allegations of a double homicide, but he also tried to smuggle in some illegal substances into jail too. This is what really got the folks shaking their head. Let's first tackle the double body accusation. According to the prosecutor's story, Gunna is an important member of a street gang who has close ties to the Shady Park CRIP gang. The attorney responsible for Gunna's case said that Gunna isn't involved in the so-called Shady Park Crips matter. But that's his job, and it's only natural that he would claim his innocence. We can't say anything with certainty at this point, though. To be fair, the prosecutor never said that Gunna himself did the crime. They're just throwing dirt on him because his name was mentioned in the case, and that doesn't look nice in court. Especially not if you're on the bond hearing, fighting for a chance at liberty before your trial even begins. The prosecutors want Gunna to stay behind bars, and that's more obvious than ever. The fact that everyone, including Gunna, was shaken by these new allegations can't be denied. One comment wrote, "So we went to court thinking there was a chance of him getting out on bond, and he finds out not only is he not getting out, but he also might be looking at a couple bodies. He's ducking sick. He will tell." And there is perhaps something more to Gunna telling on his YSL members. With the news story coming from the prosecutor, it might get ugly for Gunna unless he starts singing on his homies. Some speculate that Gunna's only way out of jail is if he starts snitching on his homies. Otherwise, the man might be behind bars for good. We're talking life sentence type of scenario stuff. Now, that's not all. It gets more interesting because something else happened with Gunna too. Believe it or not, he tried smuggling substances in jail through a third party. To top that all off, he convinced a nurse to do his dirty work for him. Again, according to the prosecutor, one nurse by the name of Tricaire Lachelle Ford was caught trying to smuggle a bag of all sorts of illegal substances. She apparently dropped the bag and ran away. Prosecutors claim that they got the evidence that would imply that Gunna knew about the whole scheme and how it would take place. In Gunna's defense, his lawyer swore up and down that Gunna was not using any sort of illegal substances. Thinking of all the times that rappers such as Gunna talked about and referenced these substances would imply that he in fact was in some sort of withdrawal crisis. Maybe he did feel weak and needed a little something to help him out. So how was this lady caught? She actually managed to run away initially, and the cops were looking for her for like a month. But when they did catch up with her, she also had charges pressed against her for possession of substances and the attempt for their distribution. The question everyone probably asking themselves right now is, how in the world did they figure out that the substances in the bag were in fact for Gunna? Well, that's the part that got people laughing. The nurse had all the names of the people who were supposed to receive the substances written down on a piece of paper that was in the bag. Oof. Why in the world would a nurse risk her career and freedom like that? We don't know. Maybe it's clout, maybe that's some kind of favor that she owes to an inmate. What we do know is that a lot of comments came as a result of her action. That nurse is 100% getting jail time trying to smuggle narcotics into a jail, unless she has enough information about him that the detectives need for the RICO case. Imagine the regret she's feeling right now. If the lady really does end up in jail, it's gonna turn out to be one heck of a story. When it comes to Gunna, his trial is supposed to start in January of 2023, but with the number of all the YSL members who are supposed to have their trials so high, it might not be coming that early. As a matter of fact, it might even be later that year. We've yet to see about that. Things are looking pretty bad for our boy Gunna. Some say he might have to ask for another bond hearing, but with the prosecutors pushing their story so hard, it really seems unlikely that Gunna is going to be released before his trial starts. But what do y'all think? Will his lawyers fight for another bond hearing? What are his chances of getting out on bail before trial? Let us know in the comments section below. And as always, remember to keep it RIZZLE.